I'm Mick Alberts. This is video 4 of the Create a Picture Viewer in C# video. If you haven't seen the first 3 videos, consider watching those before you watch this one. In this video, you'll learn how to add code by using IntelliSense. First, I want to add some code to the Show a Picture button. When a user clicks this button, an Open File dialog box will open. When the user chooses a picture file, the picture will appear in the picture box. While I'm adding this code, I also want to demonstrate IntelliSense, a Visual Studio tool that helps you write code. As you type, IntelliSense opens a box with suggested completions for the words you type. You can choose from the IntelliSense suggestions or just ignore the box. First, I'll double-click the Show a Picture button. The IDE opens the code editor. Notice that the cursor is in the Show button click method. Here's the code I want to add to this method. Briefly, what this code says is, open the Open File dialog box, and if a user clicks the Open button, load the specified picture. I'll go through that one step at a time, using IntelliSense. First, I'm going to type an I in the empty line between the braces. This is the IntelliSense window. This tooltip tells me that this is a code snippet for the if statement. A snippet is a block of code that gets you started with a particular coding task. This is the statement I want to use here, so I'll press the Tab key, and if is inserted into the code. Now I'll press the Tab key again, and the if snippet is inserted into the code. An if statement is a statement that executes a block of code if a certain expression is true. Now I want to add code to open an Open File dialog box, and to load a picture in the picture box when a user clicks Open in the dialog box. See how true is highlighted in the snippet? I'm going to type OP to overwrite this. And the IntelliSense window opens again, displaying Open File Dialog 1. This refers to the Open File Dialog component that I added earlier. I'm going to press the Tab key to insert this into the code. Now I'll type a period, sometimes called a dot by programmers. Because I typed this right after Open File Dialog 1, an IntelliSense window opens, showing all of the Open File Dialog component's properties and methods. These are the same properties that appear in the Properties window. There are also methods, which can tell the component to do things, like open a dialog box. Notice the icons next to each property and method. This block icon indicates a method. This icon with a hand indicates a property. And the lightning bolt icon indicates an event. I'll start typing Show Dialog, and I can see the Show Dialog method in IntelliSense. I'll press Tab. This method will open the Open File dialog box. When you use a method on a control or component, referred to as calling a method, you need to add parentheses. So I'll add opening and closing parentheses. Now I want to point out a few things about methods, which are an important part of any program. There are several ways to use methods. You can call a component's method to tell it to do something, like when I called the Open File dialog component's Show Dialog method here. You can also create your own methods, like the one I'm creating now, called ShowButton_click. This method opens a dialog box and inserts a picture when a user clicks a button. Now to continue writing code. I'm going to type a space and then 2 equal signs here. Then I'll type another space. Another IntelliSense window opens. I'll start to type dialog result, and here it is in the list. I'll press Tab. When you write code to call a method, sometimes the method returns a value. In this case, the Open File dialog component's Show Dialog method returns a dialog result value. Dialog result is a special value that tells you what a user did in a dialog box. An Open File dialog component can result in the user clicking Open or Cancel. So its Show Dialog method returns either dialog result.ok, which corresponds to the user clicking Open, or dialog result.cancel. Now I'll type a dot to open IntelliSense. I'll type the letter O and press Tab to insert OK. Now I'm going to type another line of code between the braces, using IntelliSense to help me. This line says to load the picture the user has chosen into the picture box. So altogether, these two lines of code say, if a user clicks Open in the Open File dialog box, load the chosen picture into the picture box. The program isn't done yet, but I want to run it to test it so far. First I'll click the Save All button here. It's a good idea to save your program frequently. Now I'll click the Start Debugging Toolbar button. And here's the program. First I'll click the Show a Picture button to run the code I just wrote. This opens the Open File dialog box. Let's take a look at the filters list. It looks like the filters work the way I want them to, and I can navigate to the Pictures folder just as I would in any Open File dialog box. When I select a picture and click Open, the picture appears in the picture box. And notice that when I resize the form, the picture area resizes itself so that it's as wide as the form and fills the top 90% of the form. That's why I used the Table Layout panel and Flow Layout panel containers. They keep the picture sized correctly when I resize the form. I'm going to conclude this video here. To continue creating this project, see the 5th video of this tutorial. In that video, you'll learn about methods and statements.